Settle into yourself. Allow the eyes to close. Observe the rhythm of your breathing. Your breathing can continue. The natural rhythm of breathing in and breathing out. And as you exhale, the body begins to become a little more calm and a little more relaxed. Not because you're trying to relax, but because exhaling is what you do when the body lets go. And you may notice that some exhales last a little longer than others. When an exhale lingers, it's almost as if the body is deciding on its own to settle a bit more. You don't have to follow it. You can simply allow it. And as one part of your mind notices the breath, another part of your mind may already be drifting, thinking, imagining, remembering. You don't need to stop that. You don't need to do anything. You're just breathing in and breathing out, becoming more calm and more relaxed. Taking a moment to notice the support of the body, letting the body get heavier, more relaxed. Breathing out, more calm, more relaxed, without effort. And as you relax again, the shoulders may soften, or the jaw, the hands. You don't even have to check. The body will know what to do when it's ready to do it. And as the body becomes more calm and relaxed, you may notice that your mind doesn't need to do anything at all. Breathing in, slowly, slowly, breathing out. Calm, relaxed. You might notice now that as you hear these words, some part of you has already gone deeper. Deeper than you intended. Deeper. Not because you're trying, but because your body knows how to let go. With each word, you can allow yourself to settle even more. Before we go further, I want to name what we mean by attunement. Attunement does not mean agreement. It does not mean you approve of what's happening. It does not mean you're rushing to fix or correct or teach. Attunement means sensing what is present in you, in your team, without immediately reacting, without correcting, without withdrawing. It means seeing them, really seeing them as they are. As you hear that, notice how the body responds. You don't need to decide whether you agree. just notice what your nervous system does with those words. And as you exhale again, the body can continue settling in its own way, at its own pace. Now, from this steadier place, or perhaps while part of you continues settling, begin to imagine yourself at the age of your teen, not analyzing, not judging, just allowing an image or a sense to form. You might notice how you stand or sit, the expression on your face, the emotional tone you carried then at that age. And as one part of you observes this younger version of yourself, another part of you can remain grounded right here. You're not going back. You're observing. And as you imagine yourself at that age, notice what it felt like to be truly seen, not fixed, not corrected, but understood. Perhaps there was someone who looked at you, recognized something true about you, something beyond the behavior, beyond the mistake, something essential. There's nothing you need to decide in this moment, just noticing what arises. And if you notice distress or longing, you can let your attention rest on the support beneath you, breathing in, breathing out. The body settling again at its own pace. There's no rush, nothing to fix. Now allow this scene to shift gently and imagine the present day self, you, now entering this scene. Not stepping into the younger you, but standing nearby, present, grounding, available. Notice the quality of your gaze, the attention, the way you're simply looking. And as your present day self arrives, this time with eyes that see, your breathing will continue all on its own. With each exhale, allowing the body to register that seeing is enough. You don't have to explain. You don't have to judge. You may notice a sense of clarity or recognition or simple, steady presence. And as this moment unfolds, part of you may be deeply engaged, while another part of you is simply witnessing. Both are fine. Notice the effect it has on the body and on the state of mind. Perhaps a softening, perhaps a deepening, perhaps a quiet sense of being known. And if it feels right, allow yourself to stay here for a few moments, just staying with this, noticing what unfolds, feeling seen, no need to direct, just allowing and noticing. And as you remain in this scene, or even as it begins to fade slightly, notice the qualities that are present in you. The quality of presence that allows true seeing, not judgment, not analysis, pure attention. You may notice qualities such as curiosity, openness, receptivity, gentle interest, or something else entirely. You don't need to name it yet. Let them become clear in your felt sense first. You might notice where these qualities live in your body. Perhaps as openness in the eyes, or spaciousness in the chest, or quiet receptiveness in the throat. And as you notice where they are, the body begins to remember them, not as an idea, but as a felt experience. Something your nervous system recognizes, even if your mind is just learning it now. And as you exhale, it may become clear that these qualities are not something you're creating, they are something you're remembering. The capacity to see that was always there, waiting to be turned toward your team. Now, without losing these qualities, bring your teen to mind, not as a problem to solve, just as they are. Perhaps in a moment when they were withdrawn, pushing away, or simply being ordinary. Notice what it's like to hold your teen in awareness from this place of attunement. Your body remaining open, your gaze steady, your breath engaged. Notice what happens when your teen feels truly seen, not for what they did, but for who they are. Notice what that does to your internal state. And you might notice that attunement itself is a kind of steadiness, a way of being present that requires nothing but attention and invitation to be known, not an effort, just an awareness. Now allow that scene to fade and imagine a different moment with your teen, a different context, a different situation. And you might notice different conversations arising, different emotional states, different expressions. And each time the capacity to see remains. You are reliable. You are available. so that by now it may be quite clear that this quality of attunement is not situation dependent. It's always present, waiting to be remembered. Now bring to mind a moment in the coming days, a real moment you might face with your teen, perhaps a conversation when they share something difficult, or when conflict arises, or simply being together. And imagine yourself in that moment with this capacity to see, present. Notice how your body feels, the pace of your breath, the quality of your attention. And notice that even in this moment, your nervous system is learning, practicing, remembering. So when this future moment arrives, this attunement will be there, not because you're forcing it, but because your body already knows the way. Now allow the imagery to begin to recede naturally. Keep the felt sense of presence and seeing with you, but begin noticing the room again. Noticing the sounds, the air on your skin, and with one or two final exhales, gently moving your fingers, your toes, and when you're ready, opening your eyes, awake and fully settled with your experience. And you might notice in the hours and days ahead that this capacity to see arises on its own. Sometimes when you expect it, sometimes as a quiet surprise, your body remembering what your mind has just learned, and some part of you knows that something has shifted, not because you forced it, but because you allowed it.